I still remember the day we buried my grandmother like it was yesterday. The sky was that heavy, slate gray color that makes everything feel heavier than it already is. There weren't many people at the funeral, just a handful of neighbors, a few distant cousins, and me. She had outlived almost everyone she loved. At 87, she slipped away quietly in her sleep, the way she always said she wanted to go. No hospitals, no machines, no fuss, just peace. After the service, I went back to her old house on the edge of town. The place smelled exactly like her lavender soap, old books, and that faint hint of cinnamon from the tea she drank every evening. The lawyer had given me a small wooden box during the reading of the will. Inside was a single cassette tape, the old kind with the plastic reels you could see through the window. On the label, in her careful, shaky handwriting, it said, "For my dearest. Your name. Play alone. No one else. Nobody else was allowed to hear it." Those were her exact words in the will. Not even my mother, who had barely spoken to her for the last 15 years. Not my sister. Not the cousins who showed up hoping for jewelry or money. Just me. I waited until nightfall. The house was too quiet, so I sat in her old armchair by the window, the one that still had her favorite blanket draped over it. I pulled out my grandfather's ancient tape player, the one she refused to throw away, and slid the cassette in. My hands were shaking. I pressed play. At first, there was only the soft hiss of the tape. Then her voice. That familiar, warm, slightly raspy voice I had known my whole life. But this time, it sounded different. Tired. Heavy. Like she was carrying something she'd held onto for decades. "Hello, my sweet child. If you're listening to this, then I'm already gone. And that's okay. I've been ready for a long time. There are things I need to tell you, things I could never say while I was alive, things no one else in this family can ever know. So listen carefully, and please, forgive me." I leaned forward, heart already pounding. I wasn't always the quiet old woman who baked you cookies and told you stories about fairies in the garden. Before you were born, before your mother was even married, I lived a very different life. A life I buried so deep, I almost forgot it was real. She took a long breath, the kind people take when they're about to cross a line they can never come back from. "When I was 24, I fell in love with a man who wasn't your grandfather. His name was Elias. He was a photographer, always traveling, always chasing stories the rest of the world wanted to forget. We met in a small coastal town during a storm. He was reckless and brilliant, and he looked at me like I was the only real thing in his world. For 2 years, we lived a beautiful, impossible dream. But dreams like that don't last in families like ours." Her voice cracked just slightly. "I got pregnant. It wasn't planned. When I told him, he was overjoyed. He wanted to marry me, to take me away from everything. But my father, your great-grandfather, found out. He was a powerful man in this town back then. The kind of man who could make problems disappear. He gave me a choice. Give up the child and marry the man he had chosen for me. Or lose everything. My family. My name. My future." I felt cold all over. "My mother, was she?" "No," she said, as if she could hear my thoughts through the tape. "Your mother is your grandfather's child. But the baby I carried before her, that little boy didn't make it. Or at least, that's what they told me. They took him from me the night he was born. Said he was too weak. Said it was God's will. I never even got to hold him." There was a long silence on the tape. I could hear her shifting, maybe wiping her eyes. I never believed them. Something in my heart told me he was alive. For years, I searched quietly. I paid people. I followed leads that went nowhere. Your grandfather knew something was wrong with me, but he never asked. He was a good man. He loved me anyway. But every time I looked at your mother, I saw the ghost of the son I lost. I paused the tape. My chest felt tight. I walked to the kitchen and poured myself a glass of water, hands trembling. When I came back, I pressed play again. "Then you were born," she continued, her voice softening. "The moment I held you, something inside me broke open. You had his eyes, my love. Elias's eyes, the same shape. the same way they caught the light. I never told anyone, not even your mother. But I knew. And I watched over you like I couldn't watch over him. Tears were running down my face now. I didn't even try to stop them. I found him, darling. 3 years ago. He's alive. His name is now Daniel. He grew up 2 towns over with a family who adopted him through private arrangements. He's a teacher, has 2 little girls. He looks happy. But he doesn't know about me. He doesn't know about you. I never reached out. I was too afraid of what it would do to everyone. She let out a shaky breath. I recorded this because I'm a coward. I couldn't tell you while I was still here. I didn't want to see the look in your eyes. But you deserve to know where you come from. You deserve to decide what to do with this truth. There's an envelope in the bottom drawer of my nightstand. It has his address, a few photographs I managed to take from a distance, and a letter I wrote to him but never sent. Burn it, keep it, give it to him. Whatever your heart tells you. Her voice grew quieter, more fragile. I loved you more than I've ever loved anyone. Not because you replaced what I lost, but because you carried both pieces of my heart, the one that stayed and the one that was taken. I'm sorry I kept this from you. I'm sorry I was too scared to be honest. But I needed you to know that some secrets aren't meant to stay buried forever. Some stories need to find their way home. There was another long pause. I could hear her breathing, slow and labored. One more thing, my love. Your mother, she suspected something. That's why things were always strained between us. She could feel the distance. I hope one day you can help her understand without breaking her. Families are fragile things. We hold them together with love and lies in equal measure. She chuckled softly, that familiar warm sound I'd heard 1,000 times. Now I'm going to turn this off and go make myself some tea. I imagine you're sitting in my chair right now, probably crying like I am. That's all right. Cry. Then decide what kind of person you want to be with this knowledge. Whatever you choose, I'm proud of you. I've always been so proud of you. The tape kept playing for a few more seconds, with just the sound of her breathing, then clicked off. I sat there in the dark for a long time, the weight of her words pressing down on me. Everything I thought I knew about my family, about myself, had just shifted. The grandmother who sang me lullabies and snuck me candy had carried this enormous pain her entire life. And she had trusted only me with it. The next morning, I opened the nightstand drawer. There was the envelope, exactly where she said it would be. Inside were old photographs, faded images of a young man with kind eyes that looked unsettlingly like mine. A current address. And a letter, written in her hand, dated just 6 months before she passed. I held that letter for a long time, staring at the sealed envelope. Some secrets aren't meant to stay buried forever, she had said. I still don't know what I'm going to do. Part of me wants to drive to that address tomorrow. Part of me wants to burn everything and protect the family I already have. But her voice keeps playing in my head, late at night when the house is quiet. She trusted me with the truth. And now I have to decide what kind of person I'm going to be with it.